Well, I think with that, it's time for a bourbon break.
All right.
So today's bourbon, we have Evan Williams, 1783 small batch. And to answer your question, no, we've not done this one before. We have covered Evan Williams before, but we covered the Evan Williams bottled and bond single barrel, which when we covered it was easy to get. Now that bourbon is incredibly hard to get. So you're welcome, Evan Williams. So now we're covering the small batch, which as of today is easy to get. We'll see what happens.
That's the B&B bump.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome for the free advertising. A little bit about this. It is a lower cost bourbon, but it is still a sipping bourbon. It is a, they say it's aged extra in white oak, which I don't even know what aged extra means, but it is a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 90 proof, 45% alcohol. And Devia, what do you know about this bourbon?
Okay, so according to Total Wine, this bottle runs for about $16 and pretty good for the money, I guess. That's what he said. So Kentucky, made from traditional Evan Williams bourbon recipe, buttery to the nose with hints of oak, vanilla, and sweet corn. Rich and smooth with a semi-sweet entry of honey and oak, leading to an off-dry finish. Also, I went to this website, and the mash bill is 78% corn, 12% malted barley, 10% rye, and it's 90 proof. And I believe they also mentioned on the nose that it has some charred oak, caramel, and vanilla, and notes of like marshmallow and leather. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so I think Evan Williams is a large producer, and it's always interesting whenever a large producer produces something that they consider to be small batch or select. Obviously, with Evan Williams single barrel, they were taking some of their best barrels and providing that as a premium brand, and that went incredibly well. Like, it was a low cost bourbon that was a very good sipping bourbon, high quality. And I find the same thing with this Evan Williams 1783 small batch. I think they probably put this out because the single barrel was being bought up so quickly that they wanted to have something similar, but maybe a little bit less restrictive. In terms of a sipping bourbon, on the nose, it's very pleasant. It's honey, oak, it's sweet. It's, you know, there's nothing offensive there. It's not like heavy on corn. It's for a $15 bottle, it's incredibly good for sipping. That you immediately get multiple flavors. This is not just a single flavor bourbon, you know. With this, you get oak, you get honey, you get a little bit of you definitely get a little bit of rye spice to it, and then a little bit more of the wheated flavor. So I think for a $15 bottle, something that you could sip and enjoy, but at $15, you could mix this. You could very easily mix this with a cocktail recipe or even just Coke or something, and not feel bad about it. So I think if you're in the market for a cheaper bourbon that you could sip, or even if you're in the market for just a well bourbon, this is a great go-to. And that's been the bourbon break.
Okay, guys, we're gonna move on to story